All right, ready for our first case. Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
My name is Darwin Willie, DOC number 393-184.
Okay, Darwin, we're the parole panel. We'll explain the process to you, read some information to the record, have a parole interview, ask you some questions. You can respond. At the end, you can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we have Mr. Keith Nordyke will speak at the appropriate time, Ronald Ramsey, Lynn Ramsey, Darwin Willie Sr., and then we have also Miss Nita Penton, Mr. Holland Penton Jr. will speak at the appropriate time. Darwin Willie Jr., DOC number 393-184, your first class offender. Parole eligibility date 7/18/2022, good time 4/13/2045, full term 10/13/2094. Now, 99-year sentence. You had a commutation of sentence signed by Governor Edwards on March 24th, 2023, charged second-degree murder. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you answer Mr. Freeman's question, please?
Okay, Mr. Willie, how old are you?
I am 46.
How long have you been in jail?
A couple of weeks short of 28 years.
28 years. So you were 18 years old when this happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is your educational level?
Since being incarcerated, I come with a high school education. Since being here, I've acquired an associate's and a bachelor's through the New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary. And I've also acquired multiple vocational trade certifications through NCCR and HVAC Excellence and HVAC.
Okay, we'll get to that a little further down. I got a list of all the stuff you've done, okay? All right, Mr. Willie, real quickly, and give us a synopsis of what happened. Where were you at in your life at that stage? And just why you did it.
Let me first say that there's no good reason for me murdering Robert, none whatsoever. Where I was at in my life was I was coming out of high school. I was in a relationship with another person, and that relationship had ended, and I was in a probably really bad, depressive way. And I got influenced by other people, but at the end of the day, I made the decision to participate in criminal activity that led to me killing Robert Penton.
Okay. Were you on drugs, alcohol at the time?
No, sir.
Were you ever a drug user?
No, sir.
Did you drink alcohol?
I mean, I guess what you would call periodically, but not in excess
daily.
or not to the point. Right.
Okay. Looking at the community attitude, the judge had no comment. The district attorney, Scott Parole, is opposed. The sheriff had no comment. The chief had no comment. Your father, Willie Sr., is in favor, and the victim who will speak later, one of them have no comment, one of them is here to speak. Let's talk about your vocational. What all vocational have you taken?
Since I've been here, I've taken HVACR, which is heating, ventilation, air conditioning, refrigeration, vocational training. There's two programs. There's one through Johnson Controls. There's another that's sponsored through NCCR, which is National Center for Construction Education and Research. And after completing both of those programs, I went on to acquire other certifications through the ESCO Institute, which is a HVAC Excellence certifications.
Okay. What are your plans if you were to make parole today? What would be your job?
If I make parole today, Mr. Ron Ramsey is going to hire me as an electrician's helper in his company. Prior to coming to prison, I had did electrical work, and in high school, I had been trained in school in electricity. So I would go into that initially and stay there until I could try to acquire a trade field more suitable to what I've been trading for and what I've been practicing for in here.
Okay. What kind of community service have you done at the prison? I see you a tutor.
Yes, sir. During my duration within here, probably one of the first things I tried to do to give back was I was a tour speaker for a period of time. They used to have both tours come in, anything from churches to businesses to at-risk youth. And we would come up, speak to them, try to give them our story, to try to either inform them how the prison operates, the history of it, or to help give a deterrence by our life as an example of why not to make poor decisions in life. After that, I also worked as an inmate minister, where we assist as a chaplains department in trying to meet the psychological and spiritual needs of the population at large. We were trained to not necessarily diagnose, but to give an ear and a comfort to guys that might be in stressful situations throughout their life here. If a family or a loved one died, or if they were going through a turmoil, to sit there and listen to them in confidentiality, and then direct them to either the mental health or the chaplains department, where they could get the proper help and treatment. And then as a reentry mentor and tutor, guys come in from the streets. They're in a court approved program where they spend roughly 24 months in here with us. And we both tried to help them socially and vocationally to realize the same thing that we've tried to realize in our lives, that there's better ways to handle situations, that emotions are usually a bad predicator on which to make a decision on. And that if you understand, to recognize your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions, and recognize the risk that sometimes come with negative thoughts or negative ways to respond to stresses in life, and to develop more positive ways to handle these stresses. And also to try to teach them a trade in which that they can go back into the community and therefore have a viable legal job opportunity where they may have not had or may have not felt it was an option for them, and therefore not have to resort to criminal behavior.
Okay. Where are you gonna live if you get out?
My plan is to first go to the Parole project, go through their program, and then to go to Georgia, where my mother lives.
Okay. I see you took victim awareness. If
Yes,
you
sir.
have an opportunity to speak to the victim, but speak to the board, what would you tell his family?
I've had a chance to speak before, and I would like to say the same thing I said before, that there's no excuse whatsoever for me taking Robert away from their family. And I'm not trying to justify that in any means. All I can express is my remorse, that I understand the pain and suffering that I've caused to their family, and that I've regretted it every day. Ever since the day that it happened, it's been an evaluation of my life. And through the programming that's been offered to me, and through both church, morally, vocationally, thinking for a change, victims awareness, these things have helped me identify issues with me, why I made poor choices that day, to try to address those issues in my life, and in trying to be a community servant, to teach those same learning and those same educational principles to others. And so I want them to know that I'm sorry, and I can't say it enough. And I understand why they probably hate me, and probably why they would have great animosity toward me, and that they would oppose me. And I completely understand that. And that's that I agree with them 100%. I can't say it enough, that I understand what I did and how I hurt them, and that's something I can never ever undo, no matter what I do or what I say.
Okay. You have plenty of support letters, some from some prior wardens from the institution. Are And your disciplinary record is good. You hadn't had a write-up since 2015. Your custody is medium, your risk needs is low, and you have a very good institutional record. Warden, what can you tell me about Mr. Willie?
Mr. Freeman, actually to correct that, he, as of 2016, was a Class B, and then in 2018 got his Min A, his Class A trustee status back. Since 2016, he has been a reentry mentor for us. We, for a while, had pulled him out of reentry to help us out on some grounds at Camp J, which for us, there was no words, there was no action, nothing negative about it. Darwin went, did what he needed to do there, and then came back in to provide continued mentorship in the reentry program to this date. We've not had any problems whatsoever. He's done what's been asked and beyond.
I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. I see Carrie Meyer here. Carrie, would you like to make a brief statement?
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We've been supporting Darwin since his clemency hearing. We continue to support him based on his accomplishments, his record, his literal just significant path of maturity and achievement that he's had during these more than 26 years of incarceration. We recognize that he's not the 18-year-old person who made this tragic error, and he's involved himself in everything that he can do to address everything, not only addressing his issues, going beyond that, giving back. He has become a mentor. He has helped change the lives of many people there by equipping them both morally and with trade skills. And Darwin has an excellent transition. He has employment. He has a long-term out-of-state plan. Parole Project is here to support him. And through that transition, we ask this board just to grant his parole today.
All right, thank you. We're here for Miss Lynn Ramsey.
Hello,
Hey, okay, we can hear you.
you can?
I
Yeah,
can.
you can
Go
hear
ahead.
me.
You go ahead.
Yeah, speak up. Okay. I'm just so sorry for what my son did, and if I could change it, I would. I just love him, and I just need him home, not so much for his sake, for my sake. I know you hear mushy stuff all the time, and you don't want to hear that today, but I feel it, and I just really need him to help us out when he gets home.
Full support.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
give him full support.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Now we're here for Mr. Darwin Willie Sr.
Yes, sir. I'm in full support of him, whatever it takes. I'm available.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. All right. Now we'll hear from Mr. Holland Penton.
I'll do a little better this time. I've followed up everything that Darwin has gone through. But you've gone through what we went through. He said he understands what we went through. Nobody will never know until they've gone through what we went through. Like I say, I followed everything that Darwin went through. He has made great achievements. Everybody that's worked with him apparently has not gone through what we went through. Darwin probably has made, no doubt made changes in his life. But let me tell you about my son. 13 years, he went through the same school. He lettered in football from the time 3 years in junior high and all the way up through high school. He lettered in band. He never been in any trouble in school. And he done great. He had great desires to make a go at it and play in college football. He even went to camp at LSU, and then he never found out that he had made it in
Don't do your face because you're on the camera.
my football game team, but he didn't make it. But he never found that out. They gave his jersey at his wake that night. But it was never meant to be. Last time when y'all met at the Warden board here, and Darwin did clarify a little bit this time around. You asked why did he do it? He said he didn't know. This time he did nail it down a little bit. But it's not to retry Darwin again. I'm not trying to do that. Darwin did say he asked us for forgiveness. We did forgive him. And no, we don't have hate in our heart. But the justice system did the best they could. And they did hand down a sentence for him, and it was a tough trial we went through, 3 years trying. And he wants out, his family wants him out. And we want our son back, but that's not meant to be. Once his life was taken, it's over. And everybody wants it. His mother says she needs him home. We need our son home, but that's not meant to be. Once the life is gone, it's gone. And we have peace in our heart. Whatever's decided is decided. We can't change that. Everybody's fighting for Darwin. Nobody's fighting for Darwin. Warden board heard last time when y'all spoke on it. What broke my heart. I couldn't finish speaking. Because the justice system now fights more for the criminal. We're not calling Darwin a criminal because now he's a child of God. Because he asked Christ into his life. But you know what? Everybody's fighting for the criminals nowadays. Nobody's fighting for the victim. I don't understand that. That's why our kids, we haven't killed them. Every time we turn around, we haven't killed them because nobody's fighting for the victims anymore. I don't understand that. Our system is going bad. And because we let them out. I'm not saying Darwin needs to be let out or he deserves to be let out. Only he knows that. But I just don't understand it. Our criminal system and our justice system's gone wrong. Is he going to go out and do it again? I don't know. But if y'all let him out and he does, it's going to be on y'all. It's not going to be on me. I love him as a brother in Christ. His mother needs him home. What does she need him home for? I need my son home, but I can't get him back. My son come home that day crying because it was a premeditated plan to kill him. I said, son, call the law. He called the law. They couldn't protect him. I couldn't protect my son. He was lying in his bed. They made a plan to kill him. They called him on the phone. His girlfriend did. They wanted to shoot him through the window. He couldn't do that, so he busted down the door. He took his life, shot him between the eyes with a 20-gauge shotgun. He was being charged for murder. Because of the complications of the case, we agreed to second-degree murder. And our district attorney, Vocational Parish, did the best they can. And we agreed to second degree. And after he agreed to testify against the girl, she got it. I'm not retrying this case again. Because our son's at peace.
Yes, sir.
I got peace in my heart. They want to let criminals out on the street. Y'all got a job to do.
Yes, sir.
You know, I don't know. I just know one thing. Whatever y'all decide, y'all decide. I went down to that prison, I forgive that boy. And I don't have hate in my heart for him. But if y'all let him out, his daddy can have him back. I'll talk to his daddy. We don't have hate for him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for your comment.
You know, y'all got a job to do. I don't want y'all to, I wouldn't want y'all to. But if y'all let him out, my family asks, do not send him. We can't go there.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your comment.
I don't want to go through this no more.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your comments. I'm so sorry. All right, Darwin, would you like to make a statement on your behalf?
I just want to tell Mr. Holland and his family that I'm sorry. And I know I've said it a bunch of times, and like you said, we've talked in the past. I just can't say it enough. And I understand exactly what he's saying. And again, I don't understand because I haven't suffered as he suffered, but I've tried my best too. And he's a better person. He's a way better person than I am. But things he's had to go through that I put him through, and still finding his heart to offer forgiveness to me. I mean, I don't deserve it. I'm not even going to assume that, but I just want to let him know that I am sorry. And I just can't say it enough to him.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Mr. Nordyke, would you like to wrap it up?
I will. I've known Darwin for almost all the 28 years that he's been incarcerated. I've known him since his early days at Angola, and I have watched him mature and grow over that time. He has been remorseful since day one, and I've watched him grow since day one. He has done everything he needs to do. He's got a bachelor's degree. He's got a trade. He's only had 3 write-ups in the entire time. After the pardon hearing, he went back and got IC3. He did a trauma class. He did thinking for a change. He didn't stop after the pardon hearing. He kept going, and he even finished the victim awareness letter writing class. So I would ask the board to grant his parole to the state of Georgia, and he will go there and not come back to Louisiana unless the board permits it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, it's now prepared to vote.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Freeman.
Okay, Mr. Darwin, no, it's a tough case. You were a young man and you did a horrific thing. You can see how much you've hurt the family, and I appreciate the family being here today. You have good family support. My vote today, you speak very well. You could have been anything you would have wanted to be, just as their son probably could have been anything he wanted to be if you hadn't taken his life. So my vote today is going to be to vote to grant your parole to the state of Georgia. You're absolutely not to come back to Louisiana without the board's permission. And you are absolutely not to ever reside in Tangible Hope Parish. No contact whatsoever with the victim unless the victim initiates it. That's my vote today.
Mr. Marabella?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank Mr. Penton and his family for the courage to be here. I heard them at the pardon board and I heard them again today. I respect the fact that they've forgiven Mr. Willie. And I also respect the fact that they, yes, there's something. They still grieve. Our job today is to determine who Darwin Willie is today as he sits here. He's done very well in prison. He's got a good vocational training. He's got a low tiger. He's got a good transition plan. My vote likewise would be to grant, conditioned upon him going to Georgia and staying there, never returning to Louisiana unless he has just the same conditions as outlined.
All right, you have two votes to grant your parole. Again, we thank the family of the victims for being here. Difficult case. It's a tough situation here. Again, you've done the work and put in the time, done things you've needed to do. My vote would be to grant your parole today, first to the Louisiana Parole Project. And then once you completed that, then you're going to go to Georgia, never to return to Louisiana, never to reside or return to Tangipahoa Parish. No contact with the victim or victim's family. You understand stipulations?
Yes, sir.
Three votes to grant. Today your parole has been granted.